will be solving the Codeforces Round 901 Dev 2. So we will be solving the A, B and C questions. Like I've already solved it, so we'll be going through the intuition for all three of these questions. Okay, so let's start with the first question, problem A. Okay, so here the question states that basically we have a bomb, okay, and it has some initial timer B, and every second this timer will decrease by 1. So like every second we will have B minus 1. So suppose that t equal to 1, it will become B minus 1. Okay, and when this timer reaches to 0, the bomb will explode. Okay, but we have some catch here, that we have some n number of tools which we can use, and whenever we use some tool, like the bomb timer will increase by a certain value. Okay, so let's take this example. So like we have 5 we have, okay, yeah, there's one more thing, that at any point the timer will be max can be set to A only. Okay, so it's not that if we are using some tool we can directly increase. Suppose if I am using a tool 7, it will increase the timer by 7. No, it won't happen, because the maximum timer which can be set is 5. Okay, so this is one thing I'll need to take care of. Okay, so max is 5 and initial is 3. Okay, and then we have 3 tools, and each tool has the capacity to improve or to increase the timer by like 1, and the third tool can increase the timer by 7 seconds. Okay, so like this is a very easy implementation problem, but the only catch here, or the only logic here is, when should we use a tool? Okay, that's the thing. When should we use a tool? So suppose the current timer is at t equal to 3, or let's say we are at t equal to 2. Okay, and the timer has moved to, let's just suppose currently the timer is suppose 3. Okay, this is just an example. Okay, and now we use this tool. Okay, so our time will increase by 10. No, our time will increase by 5. So this is the max. It is setting an upper cap. So at max we will only reach 5. Okay, so if you realize, we are actually wasting the potential of this tool. Okay, but if I use the same tool at t equal to 1, at that point, see, I have an additional like timeout of 2 seconds, which since I didn't use it for 2 seconds, like we could survive 2 more seconds. And here if I am using the tool again, it won't be 8, it will just be 5, but still, like, you get the point, that we are able to save these 2 seconds. Okay, so this is more optimal. So the only catch here is that we should use the timer when we should be using a tool when the timer is 1. Okay, that's the only catch here. So let's go through the code for it. So yeah, here I'm just taking the inputs, and yeah, this is all for the inputs. So current timer is set to B. Okay, and the only difference, like whatever we have to add to it will only come from the tools. Okay, whatever timer we can add, that will only be provided by the tools. So I'm just moving through all the tools, and yeah, we can only add a minimum of the max value which we had, or the timer which this tool can add. Okay, so this is the code for it, and yeah, so this is it. Let's move to the second question. So this we did Jellyfish and Undertale. Now B is Jellyfish and game. So this is a very interesting problem. Okay, let's try solving it. So I'll explain you the question once. So here what happens is, let's just say that there are two fishes, okay, fish 1 and fish 2. So, and both of them have some apples, and every apple has some value, okay, some value attached to it, and they are playing a game with some number of rounds, okay. And if I is odd, the first fish can swap any of its apple with the second fish, and if I is even, the second fish will swap any of its apple with the first fish, okay. And what is the goal? The goal is that they have to maximize the sum of their apples, okay, and we are playing for the first fish, okay. So we will try to make the first fish win, okay. So let's take some examples, okay. So this question is entirely based on the examples. If you can take the correct examples, you will be able to solve it. So suppose, okay, let us take our own examples. Suppose first fish has 10 apples, has 2 apples. The first apple has value 10, the second apple has value 20. The second fish has, first apple value is 1, second apple value is 2, okay. So now if let's take round equal to 1. So in first round what will happen? See, the first fish has a option to either swap or not to swap, okay. So will it swap? No. Why? Because even its minimum value, this is the minimum value, okay, even its minimum is greater than its maximum. See, whenever the fish will try to swap, it will target the maximum value of the other fish, right, and will send its own minimum value and get the maximum value from the other fish. But here the scene is opposite. Even its minimum is greater than its maximum. So will it swap? No. At round 1, no swapping will happen. What happens at round 2? Okay. What happens at round 2? At round 2, this fish. Now even this fish will play optimally, right? So what it will do is, it will swap. What will it swap? It will swap its maximum value with its minimum value. Okay. So it will swap these two. Okay. So this will become 1, this will become 20. But okay, now we have done 2 rounds. Now in the third round what will happen? In the third round, if you see, this same swapping will take place again, right? Because now this is the first fish's maximum and minimum, and it is swapping this with the other fish's maximum value. Okay, so this is one case, one test case. Okay, so basically we need to if we can just think of 2-3 different test cases, we should be able to solve this problem. Okay, so let's take another test case where so in this test case, suppose the first fish has value 1, and this one has 2, and the second fish has 10 and 20. In this case also, if you say in round 1, this fish is very smart, it will take its maximum and swap its minimum. So this swapping will take place. In round 2, this fish will do the same. Okay, so now we know that after a certain number of, after almost 2 rounds, the swapping will repeat, more or less the swapping will always repeat. Okay, now why am I always taking only two values, okay, in the test cases? Because if you think logically, suppose the first fish has these many apples, 5 apples, and each of them have so many different weights, and the second fish also has something like this. Okay, so if you look carefully, what are we worried about? Are we concerned about this 2? Are we concerned about this 3? Are we concerned about this 4? No. Both the fish will always target either the maximum or the minimum value. Okay, it will depend on whose round it is. Okay, but we will always play with the maximum or the minimum value. So none of these matters to us. We need not even consider these values. Only minimum and maximum are enough. Okay, so let's just go to the code. Like this is basic implementation problem, so only implementation part is there, nothing else. Let's go to the code. Yeah. Okay, so here I'm just taking the inputs, and yes, this is what I was talking about, that we are only concerned about the minimum and the maximum value. So I'm storing the first fish's minimum, maximum, second fish's minimum and maximum value. Okay, and yeah, I'm doing the calculation in here while taking the inputs only. Okay, so now we have to return the sum of the values. Okay, so I have already taken the sum of the values for the first fish. Okay, so whatever like swapping will happen, whatever increment decrement will happen over this result. Okay, now if k is odd, we will finish at the first fish's chance. Okay, now the first fish is very smart. If even its minimum is greater than the maximum of second fish. Okay, this was that case where first fish has 10, 20 and second fish has 1, 2. Even its minimum is greater than the second fish's maximum. Will it do anything? No, it won't do anything. It won't do anything. We are not doing anything. We will just return the result. Okay, which is the current sum. If k is even, okay, just think of the same condition, and now k is even. Now the second fish is also smart. What will it do? It will take the other fish's maximum. See, we had 10, 20, okay, and 1, 2. In round 2, this fish will take its maximum and give it its minimum, which means the result which we were talking about will decrease by the first max and will increase by the second min. Okay, this is simply what we are doing it here. Okay, now another condition can be where like the first max, where like just swap these two. If the first fish has 1, 2, so if its minimum is less than its maximum, so it will try to swap. Okay, so it will get the second maximum and it will swap with the first minimum. So what in other case, basically what case we can have is when first minimum is less than the second maximum, then also swapping will take place. So we are handling that condition here, and yeah, after swapping we need to recount this second minimum. This is for what we have written a separate else loop. Okay, and here also we are not performing any loop or anything. It just depends on the value of k. Okay, so we can get the result here. So this is a pretty simple question. We just need to like take care of the corner cases. Okay, we need to like, if we just write few cases on our pen, like with pen and paper, we should be able to solve it. Okay, let's move to the third question. Jellyfish and green apple. Okay, yeah, so in this question what is told here is that jellyfish has some number of apples. Okay, and each apple has a weight, and we need to divide these green apples equally. Okay, this word is bold, which means it is a very important word. Okay, among n people. Okay, we need to divide some number of apple pieces into some number of people equally. This is the key, this is the keyword. Okay, so what we are doing is we choose one piece and divide it into two smaller pieces. Suppose this is one apple, we divide it into two smaller pieces. Okay, and it should be the same. So what we have to output is operations required to divide all the green apples. Okay, so let's try to understand the test case. Suppose 10 is n is 10. Okay, and m is 4. So we have 10 apples and we have 4 people. So the very first thing which we will do is, out of 10 whole apples, we have 10 whole apples. See, we can give each person 2 apples. If we give each person 2 apples, we will be left with 2 apples. Okay, like 8 apples we can give, right? We do n by 4. Each person we can give 2 apples. So we will be left with the remaining 2, like 10 minus 8. So now we only have 2 apples. So whatever equal distribution we can do at the start, we will do. Okay, then we will take care of these fractional parts. Okay, so now n is 2 and m is 4. Okay, so now we have 2 apples. we will divide both these two apples, correct? We will have to divide these two apples. So how many operations will perform? 1, 2. Okay, suppose I have an answer variable, so it just got 2 in here because we are doing 2 operations. Okay, so now how many pieces of apples I have? I have got 4 pieces of apples. I have got 4 pieces of apples. Can we divide these 4 pieces of apples equally? Yes, we can divide. So answer is 2. Okay, let's take one more example. Where n is 3. Okay, and m is 4. Okay, so n is 3 and m is 4. Can we divide anything at the beginning? Can we just give some people some wholesome pieces of apple? No, we cannot. 3 by 4 is 0. We cannot give anything. Okay, and suppose we have an answer variable which is 0. Okay, at the start. Okay, we cannot give anything, no problem. What we will do is, we have 3 apples. We will divide these. Okay, we will divide these all the 3 apples, which means we are performing 3 operations, right? 1, 2, 3. So we have added 3 to our answer. Now we got 6 pieces. Out of these 6, can we divide anything to these 4 people, like wholesome? Can we give some wholesome pieces from this? Yes, we can. We can give these 4 pieces. So initially, now suppose if you look from n equal to 3, we went to n equal to 6, but 4 pieces we can give. Okay, so 6 minus 4, we can go down to 2. Now we have two of these left. Okay, again we will divide it. Okay, now we have 4 smaller pieces. Okay, now I am saying smaller pieces, you can also think of it as weight. Like these were 1 kilo apples, these were 0.5 kg, these are 0.25 kg. Okay, so I have done 2 more operations here. So let's add to the answer. 3 plus 2, 5. We have 4 equal pieces. Can we divide these to this n number of people? Yes, we can. So we will divide. Okay, and our answer is 5. So answer is 5. Okay, so this involved a lot of math concepts. That's it. I'll just show you the code ones for it. See. Okay, this is the code. So here what we are doing is okay, so we also have a condition to check if it is impossible to divide the number of apples into finite number of, like using finite number of operations. If it's impossible, we will give -1. So like think of a case like n is 10 and m is 3. Okay, this we will never be able to divide. 10 by 3 is like 3.3333 something. So we will never be able to divide in finite operations. Okay, so think of it as a case like this. Okay, so now what I am doing is I am initializing the answer for the result variable as 0. N is equal to n mod n. Why? Because the wholesome pieces which we can give, we are already giving, right? So we are just concerned about the remainder, about the ones which we need to divide, which we need to perform operations on. Okay, so yeah, this is our while condition. So whatever number of apples, we are performing those number of operations. Like if we have 2 extra apples which we cannot divide, we will cut those into parts. Okay, into some number of parts. So that we are doing here, and we are adding it to our answer. So like suppose if we have 2 apples, if we divide it, we'll get 4 apples, right? If we have 3 apples, if we divide it, we'll get 6 apples, right? So like when I'm saying apples, 6 apples of lesser weight. Okay, so that's why we are doing n into equal to 2, and whenever it is possible for us to divide the numbers equally, divide those pieces equally to n number of people, we are dividing. Okay, and accordingly handling our n. So this will be the answer. So this is the code. Okay, yeah, so this is it, I think, for this video. If there is any doubt, like please leave it in the chat section, in the comment box.